What are we doing as Black people to change the narrative of our finances? Today on the twist segment of Lifestyle with Fiifi, we are discussing, do Black people like to look rich than be rich?
Now, let's take a look at Black spending power across the world. It's estimated that the Black British community has a spending power of £300 billion, yet only 2% of this is spent within Black businesses. It's estimated that US Black travel parties spent an average of $600 on each overnight leisure stay, within an average stay of 2.5 nights for each trip. According to CNBC, Black American spending power reached a record of $1.6 trillion in 2021, although the group's net worth declined 14%. According to estimates, Africa's dry hair market for weaves and extension is currently worth over $6 billion a year and growing quite rapidly, on a continent where 40% of the population live below the poverty line. Studies reveal Black women are willing to spend at least double the amount on hair and beauty products than white women.
So to help me with the discussion, I do have my good friends, Whitney, who is host of Whitney Q on YouTube and also the owner of Extra is Life, which is a branding company. So if you want anything about branding, just hop onto her Instagram account, which is Whitney Q, Extra is Life. And I do have my good friend, my number one fan, Papsy. He's always there to support me with everything that I do in terms of my creativity. Papsy is also a content creator. He's extra large on social media, so guys follow him on social media. Now back to topic for today. I'm a Black man. I mean, I've flaunted certain things on social media, especially when I'm traveling. When I'm on economy flights, I don't just post it, but when I'm on a first class flight, that's the first thing that I'll be posting. Have you flaunted on social media to show, how rich you are immediately before?
Yeah, I think I have. But I feel like as of late, no. I mean, just because you haven't posted it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You should have worth in whatever it is that you have. And also, I feel like maybe people have too much evil eyes, or they're seeing things in a certain way and they get jealous of you and they think you have a certain lifestyle and then they put you in a certain way. Maybe that's what people do so that people can see them in a certain way. But for me now, no. But I have done that before in the past when I'm maybe flaunting a type of, I'm on holiday, I'm here, I'm there, just trying to flaunt where I am and what I'm doing. But now I don't think it's necessary at all.
Okay, what about you, Papsy?
Yeah, I do find myself, showing a bit of the lifestyle. You tend to kind of get excited when you acquire something and you just want, the world to know that you've got that. You are in that position to, flaunt it around and all that. Not to say that, you just trying to show off, but sometimes it's just out of the excitement. You find yourself posting it just to get, friends to see it, or, whoever might share the joy in what you've got. But I think with time you tend to realize that you don't need to share everything, you have. As long as you appreciate it, as long as it brings happiness to you, that's it. That really matters. So if I should, fly first class, and
the world must know it.
You would see it, but it depends on if that state of mood. Just being so excited that look, this is because sometimes you might use a first class in the British Airways. And comparing it to maybe a different flight, it kind of gives you a different vibe. You want to show it that,
I'm not going to that airline without showing my...
Let me tell you a funny thing. So me and my family recently went to Ghana, and my mum got bumped up to business class.
Oh.
Yeah, she just got bumped up to it. I was on a KLM flight, so I was in Amsterdam when she was telling me, I was like, oh, lucky you.
Yeah,
Got, like,
that's right.
you know, economy plus or whatever. I think that's all I have.
Yeah.
I was like, no problem. So we landed in Kotzakar at the same time.
Okay.
So I said to her on the phone, make sure you take pictures, like I want to see it.
Yeah.
She's not on social media, but
Yeah.
make sure you take pictures and stuff like
So.
that. So when we landed in Kotzakar, I said to her, oh, so did you take pictures? You know, did you? She's like, no, because I don't want people to know that it's my first time in business class and like I'm just so excited and showing pictures. And I thought that's a very different perspective.
Yeah.
She's like, no, even the pouch like they give you, she left it because she thought that you wasn't supposed to take it. But she was like, this is so different. Whereby with our generation, we will be quick to bring up the phone. But she was just like, no, she didn't want people to think that, oh, it's her first time and she's excited and she's taking pictures.
She didn't want to flaunt it. Yeah.
No, not at all. But she said it was an amazing experience and was suffering in economy.
Have you noticed that label designers are using black people in their adverts? And in the past, they wouldn't have used them. They would have shown using black people. Now they call it inclusive, but I call it capitalism and market research in reality. They have seen that an average black person is eager to use his low income on these luxury brands. What's your intake on that?
It's interesting that you call it capitalism.
Yeah.
But I guess for a long time, as black people, we just didn't have any representation. It was only recently on Disney that we got our first black princess. So growing up as a black girl in the UK, it was all just white people around me, and that's what I thought was the standard beauty. So now that brands are using black people, unfortunately, it can be seen as taking advantage of representation and then capitalizing off us to buy from them because, oh, if a black model is there, then that means I can have that too. It's basically a way of emotionally connecting us to the brand when they didn't really care for us in the first place. So I definitely do agree with you on that. And I mean, if it was to be inclusion, it should be all sorts. Black, white, Asians, disabled, abled, all sorts.
Because I go to certain and I don't see Asians, I don't see other, but I see black and mixed race, which I see that this is a market research based form of advertisement, to be frank. Yeah. Papsy, what's your take on that?
That's very true. I mean, you've got all these big companies investing a lot in these market analysis, and they tend to realize the trend, and obviously they're trying to play the mind games of which they know that if they bring this, representation, it's going to be much smoothing on us black people to feel, we are now getting into the scene, might as just get it, I mean, you see the model just like yourself having that, you go into the shop and you just get it without even thinking, So I feel definitely it's for purpose of marketing, it's really they've just figured it out that let's play on these emotions or this mind game.
So you're taking advantage of us, of our emotions. I read in an article in The Guardian that Levi's is now using robots as models for advertisement. So, and the excuse they gave was like they're having difficulties in finding black models, which is quite strange.
The robots are shaped like black people.
No, I think the robots is more of fair color because I was watching the news on NBC and they will try to tone the color in terms of if it's dark black, chocolates, they will be toning the color so that they can. And the next excuse they gave was like using the robot will cost them less because they will pay like $19.
So then that's the real reason.
$99 instead of the $300 that you're going to pay for models for photo shoots.
So it's more about saving money rather than they can't find models.
But in your research, you know that black people are patronizing your product. I'm looking at a bigger picture. Where future Naomi Campbell is going to be. You're going to kill the modeling industry for our black people. To be frank, I'm going to boycott this brand.
So we're not buying Levi's.
Yeah. Until they stop what they are doing. Because if they start, I know a lot of companies will be hopping onto it. You get me? So I'm really, really, really concerned about this new twists that these companies are taking. If I have a brother or a sister who is in the modeling, industry, I will be shaking for that person. You get me? Yeah. In the UK, according to statistics, self-employment is more prevalent among some minorities than white majorities. Figures based on the annual population survey show that in 2019, 23% of Pakistani and Bangladeshis reported being self-employed, compared with 14.7% of Indians, 14.1% of Chinese, 11.2% of blacks, and 14.9% of white British group. We are trailing. We are the third ethnic group in terms of population in this country, and when it comes to self-employment, we are trailing. Because self-employment will transform into enterprise. Enterprise will transform into company, and company will transform into multinational. Are we comfortable at where we are as black people? Don't we want to strive more, Whitney?
I think we're comfortable. I think we're raised in a way that we should be grateful for what we have.
So we have this cup. We don't want another cup.
Be grateful that you basically have to use your whole life to guard this cup and not lose this cup. It's worse for you to lose this cup than to risk getting another cup. That's what it is. Yeah, like I think that's what it is. But I think the next generation is changing a little bit. The Gen Zers, I feel like they are very brave. They're bold. They challenge things. They ask questions. I think us millennials are a bit like, we're still a bit
in our comfort zone.
Yeah, we don't want to offend too much, but I feel like the next Gen Z, I feel like they will change. And the boomers came from a place whereby their parents were fighting in the wars, so you just have whatever you have, you treasure it. But hence why I feel like our parents are hoarders. Like they keep things. They don't like to let things go. Just declutter it. Let it go. You can replace it.
My mother is never a hoarder. She likes to.
That's good. But majority they like to just hold onto things. So I think it's just a way of just how we've been raised in terms of just be grateful that you have a job. Oh, your boss is being horrible to you. Just stick. Why do they stay in the one job for so long and don't actually go to other opportunities or take a chance on themselves? So I think it's just the way that they've been raised. I mean, some of them are quite entrepreneurship, and then like they do go out and venture, and they have very successful businesses. But people fail at the same time, and I think people are scared of the failing and having to start again. I think that's what it is. I will do it when I have this. I'll do it when I have that. There's never ever a perfect time to try and start a business. So I thought, all circumstantial. You have to basically just go for it. And I feel like, as black people, unfortunately, we don't really have that safety net as our white peers. Our white
Safety
peers,
in terms of
safety
what?
of generational wealth. I mean, if person A says they're going to do something and it fails, they have their parents' money to fall back on. We might not necessarily have that. We have to basically fall back on ourselves. We don't really have that safety net. I'm not discouraging people from going out after their dreams, but I feel like there's a reason why it's kind of from a place of lack and scarcity, thinking that if we go for it, we may lose everything and then it's a catastrophe. So I think that's why maybe we are not as forefront as our peers. We have different layers of trauma that we're still dealing with, and we might not be as comfortable to just go into something with the risk of it failing. So we'd rather just stay in one corner and know that we can still have this cup.
I'm a black man that I always believe that if I had a lot of opportunities in life where people will push me to a certain level, I'm that black man that if someone pushes me to level 1, I'm looking at level 10. Papsy, are you trying to gun for any new position apart from the one that you have at work?
Well, I mean, with my case, I'll be, pushing for everything that I get my hands on and all that. But yeah, truly to say that it's very, very difficult, as a black person, trying to move up the rank. With especially being in the midst of my white peers, it's. I mean, I wouldn't say that I want to limit myself or limit the situation in which I would find myself, but generally speaking, you find that if you are competing for the same position, for whatever reason, you tend to have your white peer go for it in a different way than you. You might have the same qualification, but you wouldn't be explained why. Sometimes you just have the feedback that, well, you're not suitable for that role yet. However, you are good at what you're doing at the moment, so just stick to it, and just do what you're doing currently. And so you have these, little comments here and there telling you, well, you are in level 1, you are good at level 1, just stay there, you're good. Maybe there's too much tense pressure, whatever, going to level 2. And so just stay in level 1. And like, Whitney's saying, you start to think that, well, maybe it's all right, it's fine, let me be complacent and just, stay where I am. I don't know, maybe going further up the rank might bring a lot of risks that I'm not ready to deal with. And also due to the responsibilities that sometimes we tend to have as black people, we want to safeguard what we've currently got in place, and then the future can take care of, of itself. And that's the reason why sometimes you don't see black people taking that extra risks to actually get to that next level.
Do you think that racial discrimination is still happening in our workplace? Because we are in England and we do have a lot of companies that are coming with positions like inclusive managers and all those things. Do you think these managers are really helping bring all these racial discrimination to a lower end?
I think the whole George Floyd Black Lives Matter accelerated it and made it maybe a little bit better within, because you said 5 years ago and that happened 2020, so that's 3 years ago. So I feel like that accelerated it a bit. But I am continuously seeing in the workplace that there's no black people in high positions. There may be black people in the company, but for me, there's no black people in high positions. There's no black people on board level. I would like to see black people on board level that is making executive decisions rather than management. But I feel like you first aim high. If we're gonna go, we might as well go all the way, and there should be at board level. There should be representation in the board level, because they will have the power to then make decisions that's going to affect even the directors and the managers. So I feel like the issue is that there's no black people in high enough places. There may be black people in the company. There may be. I've not seen a director, but you may see a director. You definitely will see a manager at some way, somehow. But board level, I feel like the racial discrimination is still there, and we're not being represented at all.
Okay. We talk about mentorship. For instance, I got most of my characteristics traits from my family members. Being kind and nice, I got it from my grandmother. Spend within your means, be bold and outspoken, I got it from my mom. Being business oriented, I got it from my auntie. Discipline, I got it from my 2 uncles, and unfortunately one of them passed away. Do you think that black adults do mentor their children, or do you think they play a role in mentoring their children or the young ones at this moment?
No, it depends on the circumstances of the parent and their capacity. So you was fortunate enough to have a village raise you. So
no, I was raised by my mom.
Okay.
But I did have my uncles and aunties.
But then that's the support system.
Yeah, the support system.
So it's basically, you was raised.
My mom was a single mom, you get me, who raised me. So I was like, I always say that I was blessed, even though my mom was single. She single raised me.
But she had male figures in the life that was able to have an impact. Because for me, I literally just had my mom and my dad, and that's it. I didn't necessarily have any aunts or uncles, but I feel like my mom and my dad, they both raised me in a way that I will still have morals. So it is up to the parent to mentor their child and to bring up their child to be the best that they can be in this world. I do believe it depends on the parent as an individual. When I was younger, I used to think my mom and dad, they just knew everything and they were always right. But as I've gotten older, I've seen that they're human beings and they have their own flaws as well, but they try their absolute best. And there's some parents that don't have that amount of self-awareness to raise a child and mentor them as they should. So it's a very, very generic question to ask, because it's very specific to each individual. So I would say some people have got that community whereby they have their family around them, aunties, uncles, or friends, neighbours, whoever. And there's some people that may be brought in a single parent household, but it might just be the single parent household with no other support whatsoever. So it's quite hard to determine whether parents these days are mentoring their children.
Perhaps what you say?
Yeah, and just to buttress that as well, I would say the environment in which you grow up also counts. I mean, comparing what we've got here and what we've got back home. Back home is different. Back home, everyone looks out for you. You know, whether it's a parent or an uncle or the neighbor next door. I mean, if something happens, you find the neighbor next door, whipping you before even mom gets to know of it. then mom gets to have his own, her own share on that.
And sometimes you go and tell your mom, or the neighbor whip you out, oh, I will also add
Yeah,
my version to
that's it. Yeah. So, I mean, that really helps mentor and shapes you into the person you become. As compared here, you know, it's a very total different situation because parents have to work all the time. You know, literally, they might not have all the
Then
the
why
support.
will you bring someone into the world if you don't have that time? You have to have time and space for the person.
Well,
that's another debate.
That's a whole
That's a whole other situation.
No, I mean, look, no matter what, I mean, I see a lot of black guys around, kids walking around, and I go like, do these people really have parents or guardians? Because sometimes the kind of behavior they exhibit, I go like, wow, are we still, when are we going to go like these Black Lives Matters and other things? Because these characteristics that they portray, I mean, look at the knife crime in UK. It's mostly our black young folks getting.
Yeah, but you know what I would say is that remember that us well here we are, you know, we tend to be exposed quite quicker to a lot of things. You know, as a young black person growing up, you get to be exposed to a lot more. You know,
in terms of UK here or in Africa,
no,
I think even in general, because now the world is becoming global.
It's becoming. But at the rate at which you tend to be exposed here to certain things, you know, social vices. Yes, obviously back at home is also becoming more and more exposed, but here you got all these things that they tend to realize that they can do, that you as a parent might have limits control over that. You know, you can't just go screaming at your child here and just spank, you know, and say no, I want to redirect you. You know, you're going to find yourself back in the you know,
in the cell.
In the cells or somewhere. Social services is just going to be on your neck. So it really might be a bit difficult for parents to, you know, just sort of reshape.
It's all about being willing to learn to be a parent.
Okay.
Nobody, I mean, you get your natural instincts and, you know, protecting your child, but in terms of raising a child, that's a whole other different thing. And I feel like you need to be willing to accept that you don't have all the answers and somebody else might have all the answers. Reading book, educating yourself on that, how to raise a child and how to get your child to respect you and discipline the child, and not just spanking them at the first instant, because to me that's lazy parenting. The first thing you're going to do is hit the child. The child spills something, that's the child. Let's clean it up, let's do it together. And the child, make it a game. I mean, I'm not even a parent, but there's certain things that you need to have patience. And as you said, that why have a child if you don't want to know how to raise a child and have the capacity to raise a child? But that's another whole other story, you know.
Well, I know you were born here. Were you sent back to Africa to be disciplined? Because, to be frank, I went to an international school, right? And most of my mates were people who were coming from abroad. And I do have a lot of mates even here in UK, and I go like, they were being naughty and they brought them here to Africa to, I mean,
Well, for me, my mum wanted me to experience Ghana. So my mum and me and my sister, we went back to Ghana, so from class 1 to class 4. So I was with my mum, and I didn't go to an international school for that very reason. My mum didn't want me to mix with the Abochi kids that are naughty, because I wasn't naughty, I was just there to experience Ghana. So I went to another school that was not so international, but it was still quite a good school. And I loved it. I mean, it was one of the best things my mum did for me, because Ghana's not a foreign land to me, and it's not a place whereby I see trauma and think, oh, when I'm bad, this is why I have to come back to Ghana. You know, it was a place where I had fun, I had school friends, and I built my connections in Ghana as well. So, yes, I was sent back, but I was sent back with my mum. My mum came with me.
So, with these luxury brands, if Strive Masiwa, who is the richest black man in UK, and Dangote, who is the richest man in Africa, came up with these luxury brands, and you have to pick their brands against that of the Burberry, the Prada, and the Gucci, which one would you prefer with me?
For me, who's the richest person?
Strive Masiwa.
Strive Masiwa.
Yeah, in the UK.
In the UK, I'll go for him. I mean, why not invest into black luxury? I've already invested into Italians, the French, the British. Why not invest into the black luxuries? Why not branch onto that side? As I said, I've already owned items from those sort of luxury brands, so why should I give them more money? Especially now, me being a bit more self-aware and trying to be more intentional as to where my money goes to and trying to invest back into the black community. I would go for that.
So I'm giving you tie and dye. I have a Burberry shirt there. I'm giving you, and I have tie and dye.
You have tie and dye.
Yeah. Do you like
but
it?
I've been there, done that with Burberry.
So you want the tie and dye?
But then, okay, it depends on the design as well.
Okay.
But if I have to, let's say it was a very similar design and I had to just pick off the brand, then I pick there. But it depends on the design as well. But if you're gonna do tie and dye, that's not fair.
Absolutely.
That's not a fair. That's not a fair comparison. That's not a fair comparison. I mean, I can rock a tie and dye.
Papsy, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for promoting, anything black, but then also I would look at the quality of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not ready to spend like £1,000 on a black product and just have it not that quality.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you get to certain stage in life, you're looking at something that is worthwhile with your money. I mean, it's different if I'm just trying to test it out, just for the love of it and just to promote it. But yeah, if it's very pricey, I would expect that it comes with certain quality and value.
Yeah.
So yes, I would say I would always promote by buying it, but as well, I need to know that it's worth my money. Because then if I go buy any other brand, and I buy them because I know just above the brand name, it's made with quality, and that's what sometimes for us, the reason why we go for these brands, so definitely I would purchase.
I remember when Strive, the richest man in UK, he launched his, satellite television network in Africa called Kwesi TV. I was so excited because I knew GSTV was launched in the year 1992. So I knew that DSTV was owned by white South Africans. So I was so much happy when I heard Strive was bringing a satellite network. And to be frank, I bought the dish even though I had DSTV. I waited for a month. I was like, no, this is not quality content. So, and it's with a lot of black companies, enterprises. Look, I do have one black restaurant near me. You call them, oh, when can I come for my order? They will say 30 minutes. Sometimes I go like, let me give them a benefit of a doubt. Let me give them maybe 45 minutes. You go there. Oh, sorry, we forgot about your. We are just preparing. I mean, the services that our black companies they provide. Do you think we are providing good customer service to attract customers to our enterprises or our companies as black people, as compared to other races?
Compared to others,
no. Because I mean, speaking of which, I would say, fortunately, we are in an environment that we do experience multicultural, businesses. You've got, like you said, the Asians and obviously the whites and the blacks and all that, and you tend to actually see the difference. You would go into an Indian shop, and this is an experience I had some time ago where this man is just, I went to get like a can of Coke, and then I'm just getting to the counter, and the Indian man starts asking of how my day has been. We've had this conversation, and then he pulls one shit off from in one side of the place, and he's just like, have I tried this type of shit off? And he's giving me all these spices, and I'm thinking, wait, I'm in an Indian shop.
Were you ready that day, or
I had no idea I was going to buy a shit that day. If I went in to go and buy a can of Coke.
Where did he know that you were Ghanaian?
Or black, or
no. I'm thinking, where and how did he even start thinking of this shit of business? And he's bringing it in and telling me all the spices around it, and I'm thinking, wait, and I find myself purchasing the shit out of the shop, and I'm in the car thinking, well, I just go into the shop to buy a can of Coke, and I'm with a shuttle in my hand.
Imagine. That's a good customer
and
service.
That's a good customer service.
Sell them.
And so I think it's just with us as black people, we need to really find time to, in terms of, giving the right customer service. Because you walk into, any local shop, and even for them to look in your face or ask you for your order, it's like you're just there.
They'll just give you attitude,
Yeah.
like you're bothering them,
You know.
and like as if they're doing you a favor, but you're coming to spend your money.
That's it. You're
Yeah.
coming in to spend your, the money.
But do you think black people support their own?
I would say on a large scale we don't. That's the sad truth. I mean, I would say that as black community or as black people, whenever we see our brother or sister, develop a product or start a business, our first thoughts is to be judgmental. We just asking all these questions and thinking, oh, is this thing good? I mean, why would I purchase that? I don't think it's gonna be any good for me and all that. Yeah, you don't even try and taste it even before to see how it is, and that's something that really sort of slows down that development in terms of seeing black people develop or create their own business, because we don't really. We are all this judgmental, and I feel that is something we need to change. I mean, if we want to see ourselves develop and see our brothers and sisters grow and build that huge businesses, we need to actually patronize. I mean, it's best to try it out and give a good and give some feedback so we can all improve on it. I mean, it's just sad to hear and see that we always discouraging our very own people from doing something. I don't know whether it's out of fear or just out of sheer enviness or jealousy, whatever we would term it as. And that's the sad truth. We don't support our very own at all.
So if you're a black man or a black woman or a black lady or a black gentleman watching this channel, please do support me by subscribing to this channel.
Yes.
Hit the notification button.
Yeah.
Let's join the conversation with some comments. And today I want to also support my sister's channel, Whitney. Whitney Q. What's your channel? I mean, shine through. I mean, what Whitney Q channel about? I mean,
Whitney Q's channel is about personal development, living your best life, trying to be your authentic self, and tips and tricks just to navigate this thing called life. As I said, I'm the firstborn, so I didn't have anyone above me to kind of guide me or say, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, stay away from boys. But my channel is just basically to give you that big sister vibe and just to kind of give tips and advice, just to develop yourself. I'm all about being the best version of yourself and being self-aware in everything that you do, because without self-awareness, you will not be able to grow, and you should be able to receive feedback. I mean, we do talk about giving feedback, but I feel like we should need to be in a position to receive the feedback without acting offensive or, So, that's what my channel is all about. So please subscribe if you're all of that.
Subscribe is black support and black TV on my channel. So there's this menace that is going on in Africa, especially Ghana. Look, I studied philosophy. And I did my long essay in African philosophy. The marriage that I know is the traditional marriage. I'm a Christian. I don't go against white weddings. But to be frank, white wedding is the wedding being officiated or being blessed by a pastor or a priest. Whatever happens after that, I don't know where we got it from. The reception. The reception of white wedding is like a production of Beyonce or Rihanna's concert put together.
Super Bowl.
I mean, 30, 35, and you start a marriage with all these costs. Whitney, what's your say on this?
Everyone should have small weddings and just call it a day. I'm joking. I mean, if it's within your budget to have a production wedding, by all means. If it's a priority to you, by all means do it.
You're putting pressure on yourself.
If it's a priority to you, by all means. Personally, I blame social media, because you see things and you want those things because you see other people have got it, and maybe you want your wedding to go viral, you want everyone to see your wedding, you want people to talk about your wedding. So I blame social media, in my opinion. But I do think it's up to the couple, if they can afford it and they have already got what they need in place, their house, where they're going to live, they've still got their jobs, or wherever it is, all the main important things. If you have then got the extra budget for a production wedding, but by all means go for
You
it.
know, I've been to a wedding here in UK by white couples, and
Uh-huh.
after the wedding, they just serve us some drinks and cupcakes, and they just thank you.
Yeah.
If it was to be in Ghana, by the time the couple would have been at their honeymoon, they would just put the television on, breaking news. I was saying,
Yeah.
There's no way you can do that. No.
No.
No. No.
it's supposed to be a long buffet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't remember the last time I went to a party in Ghana that they served food from the kitchen. They
Kitchen,
brought it to
yeah.
your seats.
No.
Everything is about buffet. I mean, why it's like we can take someone's culture
And then make it our own.
make it out
It's actually funny. No, it's actually funny. We were watching a video earlier on of
Yeah.
a wedding.
Of a wedding.
And they were spraying the
Yeah.
bride with money.
Yeah.
And I said, that's actually not our culture.
Yeah.
Well, it's not our culture to spray money,
Money.
but we made it our culture now
Culture.
to spray money because we've seen it from other cultures. But yeah, as I said, I blame social media. I genuinely believe, let's say there was a time where social media just doesn't exist anymore, or cameras doesn't exist
To be
anymore.
frank,
We won't have
before
weddings
social
like
media,
that.
still we're having white weddings.
But
which
we're having
was,
white, but not to how it is
yeah,
now.
yeah.
It was all about being in the moment and having
Having
fun and the couple enjoying their day, but not how it is now. You have to have your logo on the dance floor. You have to have a smoke
yeah.
machine. You have to have fire. I mean, they had all of that before, but it was for a certain class of people.
But
Now
it's like everybody, an average young Ghanaian.
You've
And you'll
not-
be
you've
judged
not
if you
spoken
don't
about
have
the
it.
cast,
Yeah.
the exotic cast that has to
Yeah.
come out and bring the bride and all that bit of it. Which now I think it's all comes down to, like, you're saying, if you've got a budget, well,
I had a friend
maybe
of
it's an
mine
experience
when I was
to
in
have.
Ghana, right? And she was like, I'm waiting for this wedding. She was in a hurry. I was like, oh, whose friend of yours are you going? Oh, it's a colleague of mine friend. I'm going there for ideas. And her wedding was in 3 weeks. So I was like, if you go there and,
and
the
she
person
sees
has
something.
hide Sarkodie to perform, I'm going to hide Davido.
But
might
that's
as well
it.
just
It's a
look for that
competition.
and hide.
It's a competition. That's basically what
Unnecessary
it is.
competition.
Unnecessary
Yeah.
competition, and I think it comes
Unnecessary
down
pressure.
unnecessary pressure because we care too much about what other people think.
Yeah.
What's your advice for young black people so that we can change the narratives of our finances?
For the narrative of our finances,
Finances,
young
yeah.
black people, I would say, be very picky with what you educate yourself with. Be as well as what you eat and drink. Another thing that we consume is the content that we watch. So the movies that we watch, the music that we listen to, the books that we read. So I would say educate yourself so much so that you can be financially literate. For me, I didn't have that. No one told me to do that. I just kind of, all of a sudden, I'm 18, I'm allowed to have a credit card. I mean, like, you just get these things thrown at you. But I just would say consume content that would benefit you, that would invest into your future. Because there will come a point whereby you wish that you had done it before so that you can have a better now. So be very picky with the type of books that you read. I mean, books, I feel like, is the best knowledge that you can get out there. There's so much information out there on the internet. So many people have different information, but I feel like accredited academic book is the best way for you to learn. And even though YouTube has got so much content on there, be mindful of the type of content you consume on there, but hopefully it is someone that is educating you in terms of how to invest into your future. So, and another thing is just save. If it's whether it's $1, 1 cent, £1, 1 cedi, it doesn't matter. Just save money for a better tomorrow. Just get into the habit of saving, and then maybe eventually you can invest that money.
I know I've been unfair. I always ask Whitney before I ask you. But ladies first.
Well, ladies first, as
thank
it is. Yeah.
Your last.
Yes, I mean, as Whitney is saying, and she said it all. To be honest, it's very important that you start with the right mindset. As I would always say, it's very important that we've got this. We shape our mindset. A lot of times, people, we tend to think in a negative way based on a lot of things that we comes across. What we watch, what we see every day on TV and all that. But I think what's important is that you want to learn as to how to develop yourself. It's very key. Develop your mindset.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to know how to become financially independent and grow worth, you need to start looking at areas within that. Your conversation, your friends. You've got to see the circle in which you find yourself. Are they talking about things that is going to improve your your very well-being, you know. And if not, you need to actually start looking at people, you know, onto channels that is talking about things that you really want in terms of improving your financial wealth.
Yeah.
And like Whitney's got a channel, and I guess you guys should already be on there checking it out, because she's just pushing out this valuable
personal growth, personal development, and everything.
content, and then I think that would be very helpful. That would be a good start, you know. And you know, you just want to grow from there and learn, and I believe that is going to be very helpful.
Well, thank you.
Thank you guys for
you're most welcome.
agreeing to be on my show today, the Twist Gang.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you very much for watching. As black people, I know we have had our dark past. We shouldn't let history define us and build upon ourselves. Until we meet again, thank you very much. But remember to subscribe to my channel and that of my sister Whitney Q.
Yes.
And let's join the conversation by sending us your comments. And remember, and do share. Sharing is caring. Right? It's nice to be important, but very important to be nice.